welcome to another sustainability podcast with me, Toby Webb, and joining me in this podcast is Mark Haverlach, who is Customer Service and Re-Entry Director for Europe for Interface. So welcome, Mark. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Can you start by just telling us about what you do?
I'm within Interface. I'm responsible for our European customer service, and I'm responsible for our re-entry proposition. That's actually our take-back program in Europe, where we use our customer service to also execute this proposition.
And is re-entry a common term? Because it sounds like you work for NASA.
To be honest, I don't really know if it is a common term.
It's an internal term, perhaps.
It's an internal term. If I talk to people in the UK to get some feedback on the terminology, some really like it and some don't like it at all. So it's a little bit. What I often hear, I'm the first re-entry director in Europe that people often know of. But for me, it's more about closing the loop on our modular flooring, and I often explain what I'm doing rather than using my title.
Okay. Just talk to us briefly about what Mission Zero at Interface means for you.
For me, Mission Zero at Interface really means that you look differently at the business. And what I see in our mission is that because it's that clearly formulated in our mission that we are really inspired and encouraged by our executive team to take decisions where sustainability plays a big role, and that's completely different to other companies where often people have to fight for let's say a sustainability angle to their business decisions. And for me, that means that it is a really creative process, an innovative process in that whole decision making. So we take decisions leaded by sustainability, and not only sustainability in terms of environment, but also in terms of financial decisions. And for me, that completely changed the business model from short term, which is only driven by price, to a long term vision that is that's based on sustainability.
So you mentioned before we turned the tape on that there's a bit of a difference between what the sales guys do with regard to sustainability and your role as customer service and re-entry or take-back. Just give us a bit of background on how that works.
Sustainability for me is still a very complex topic. It's not a black and white kind of arena. So there's a big area where you really have to have the experts in. And what we do in re-entry is that the sales guys, they of course engage with the customers, and they need to have a very clear and transparent story. And also the customers, you have to imagine, are sometimes not that far in sustainability as we are as a company. So it needs to be in a language that you can really build a bridge between, let's say, the customer and Interface. But in the execution phase of sustainability, because that's what we want in Interface, we want to lead by example and create transparency so that we can demonstrate to customers how innovative we are in that area. You need a lot of solutions which are often a lot of details. Mm-hmm. And the execution of that bit is in our customer service, where we have, let's say, our experts that know the solution, that know the partners locally. In our customer service, we're also locally organized. And that will help in that execution bit. So we actually take care of our customers and we take care of our sales, where the sales guys, if the customers are interested in our re-entry proposition, we will do the work in customer service on the background and then present to our sales guy, let's say, a customized offer for their customers, how we are going to take back their product and how we are going to use it, let's say, in a kind of end of life stage.
So from a customer service point of view, I can see that the sales execs would go in, they sell the product. Sustainability is a big part of that. Some customers will take that more seriously than others in terms of opportunity and environmental impact and so on. As a customer service manager, director, how do you then stay in touch with those customers to work out what their needs are? I mean, are you in touch with them monthly, quarterly, annually? How do you keep that relationship going so you can keep talking about what you do with products at end of life?
The contact between, let's say, our customer is mainly the responsibility of our salespersons. What we see in practice is, because we have to make a kind of inventory of what the customer has on the floor, and that will be organized by our technical experts, which are part of our customer service organization. So that's where we will have an interaction with the customer. So if the customer is interested, for example, to make it really concrete, if he's interested in our take-back program, re-entry, then we need to know, let's say, exactly what is on the floor. So we will have a guy from customer service, a technical guy coming in and map their spaces. That is the concept. We map their space and then we exactly know what's on the floor. And based on what is on the floor, we will create a customized, unique plan for that customer. Because we say the customer is unique, the building is unique, so we need to have a customized plan. That plan is not presented from the customer service directly to the customer, but is presented to our sales guys, who will then pitch it to the customers.
Okay. And so I suppose in a way it's sort of internal and external consultancy role in many ways, because you're going way beyond the usual terms of customer service in the way that most companies understand it, and really looking at a lot of the granular and technical detail of their building layout and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. What we try to do is to make that difficult technical story and transfer that in a story that customers really can understand. And we do that by being transparent. So in that unique offering, we already give them a kind of budget proposal. Say, this is what we are going to do with your product, or that's our intention. These are the solutions that we have in our scope. And then you have to think about reusing the product so that we extend the lifetime of the carpet tile. That could be with the customer itself, but could also be other outlets. You have to think about recycling in our recycling machine, Re-entry 2.0, or local initiatives, or, and that sometimes also happens, of course, that the recycling capacity and the reuse capacity are not sufficient enough, and that we have to use it as a supportive fuel in the cement industry, where the part of the product will also then be used as a kind of raw material. But that is what we are going to pitch to a customer, and during the process we will keep in touch with the customer. So it's not a linear process, it's also a circular process where we keep in touch with the customers and report to that customer in a dashboard where we are. So that the customer, that we don't have a one-time pitch and then we lose contact, but during that process we keep in touch with the customers. And the transparency is creating a lot of awareness with the customer, and we see with the customers that they also start asking more and more questions because of that transparency, and which is a good thing, I believe.
This sounds like a fairly unique approach. Is this something you've developed completely internally, or have you taken any inspiration from outside sources for this kind of system?
Where it started is that we say we want to demonstrate to the market how unique we are and what we are doing. And not by telling just a marketing story, but to really make it concrete and tangible for the customer. And from that point we say, okay, we want to be transparent. That's the key to our success. And we don't want to demonstrate that we are compliant with law, but we want to demonstrate how innovative we are. And that was our starting point. So talking to sales, talking to customers, doing some pilot projects, we came to say, okay, we need to be more transparent. It's not only a certificate. We need to explain to a customer from the beginning, from start to finish, what we say. We need to from the beginning explain to a customer what we are doing, and then during the process keep touch with that customer and demonstrate what we are doing. And in the end, that results into a kind of certificate where that whole project is translated to a certificate.
And I wanted to ask you about the average customer that you have. I know you've been broadening your customer base over the years, and you're selling to offices, but also to some public institutions as well. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. If you look at our customer portfolio, of course, you can segment into governmental institutions, business to business. We also sell a lot of product through flooring companies, which is then the paying customer. And what we see with these customers is also that the level of maturity in sustainability varies. So, and that is actually our quest, to also talk to our clients that are not that far on the ladder of sustainability, that we explain to them what we can do. And that's where transparency will help us again, because then that will create awareness, that will trigger new questions, and that's also where we believe we can have an influence, and that's also the restorative bit in our mission, where we can influence, let's say, our customers and drive them to a more sustainable approach on their flooring.
Is there any particular area of your customer demographic that's more interested in sustainability? Is it government because they've been required, or public institutions, or are businesses more interested? Is there a particular segment where you find there's more interest?
I believe if you look at the, let's say, the multinationals, blue chip companies that are really engaged with social responsibility, that are interested in our proposition, governmental bodies in particular that are very interested in our proposition. Also there you will see that there is always, on one hand, they really want to be engaged with sustainability. On the other hand, they have problems in execution themselves. That could be due to the way they are organized, to make sure that the guy that is purchasing the carpet is aware of the ambitions of their company. So there are still a lot of let's say challenges in that process where we really need to engage with our customers. And what we don't want is in the end that it is all about money. We want to explain to them that it is also about value, and it is about how you look at the end of life. And we are also talking to customers in a way of sharing. So if there is enough added value in, let's say, that solution where we can retrieve raw materials from it, we can reuse it, extend, let's say, the lifetime. If there is enough value in it, we're also talking to sharing about customers. And that makes it, again, that is the next step then, that customers are more and more committed to, let's say, that whole we economy, instead of that they just give us the product and they don't hear anything from it. So,
great. Well, Mark, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.